I'm James Riswick, and this is the 2026 Toyota RAV4. Now, officially, it is the 6th generation, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it all new. A lot new is more like it, and I'm here in Arizona to drive it for the first time and give it the Capital One Auto Navigator review treatment. Okay, so why isn't it all new? Well, the underlying platform has been carried over from one generation to the next. Now, it has been strengthened and the suspension has been retuned and updated, but there are some areas where you can really see the copying and pasting. The dimensions are the big one. There are a few tenths of an inch different here or there, but for the most part, they're the same. That's not a bad thing though. The RAV4 had one of the biggest and most comfortable back seats in the segment, and hey, it still does. Now, this seat is set for me. I'm 6'3" and my knees are just barely grazing it, so this is actually a good result. I also always found it easy to plop a big old child seat here in the back seat, and that should still be the case. Though there are 2 air vents back here and 2 USB-C ports. The cargo area is up by 3/10 of a cubic foot. Wow. But again, that's okay, because the old RAV4, I could stuff more gear and luggage into the back of that than anything in its segment except for the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. But there's an asterisk to that, because the Tucson Hybrid, it doesn't have a spare tire. The old RAV4 did, and this still does, including the plug-in hybrid. The Honda CR-V Hybrid, it doesn't have a spare either. Speaking of hybrids, every 2026 RAV4 is a hybrid. It is Toyota's new 5th generation system, and just like it is in the Camry and the Prius, it has much smoother transitions between electric and engine power. It's just quieter and more refined. It's also more competitive against the Honda CR-V Hybrid. Now, one key change is that the hybrid is now available with front-wheel drive. With it, it produces 226 horsepower. That's 23 more than the old standard gas-only engine. It also returns 44 miles per gallon combined. The old standard engine, 30. So yeah, it's better now. Once again, the hybrid's all-wheel drive system is achieved by adding an electric motor to the rear axle. There is no mechanical connection front to rear. Now, adding that electric motor does increase performance. It produces 236 horsepower, which is 19 more than it was before. Now, it returns 39 to 44 miles per gallon depending on trim level. And that's not the only thing that differs by trim levels. The RAV4 lineup is broken into, let's call them, different styles that sort of align with different vehicles within the Toyota empire. There are the core models, which are the more traditional trim levels of LE, XLE, and Limited. It looks a little more like the Crown Signia. Then we have the sport trims, SE, XSE, and the new GR Sport. Think glossy black trim, sportier wheels. Although the SE and XSE look a little more like the core trims, they also share the core trims chassis tuning. And then there's the rugged one, the Woodland. It looks more like the 4Runner up front, but this isn't just an appearance package. No, it does have all-terrain tires. It does have more functional raised roof rails. Then it has a 2-inch hitch at the back, which is also good for plugging in bike racks, and then an almost Subaru-like 8.5 inches of ground clearance. Most other trims have a still pretty good 8.1. The GR Sport, it's totally different on both counts. It looks more like the GR Corolla up front. Then it has unique steering, a retuned sport suspension, it has 20-inch wheels, summer tires, and a lower ride height. It's very easy to tell the upgrades just by driving it. The steering in particular, it isn't as numb, it's tighter on center, it has better feedback. It's actually just legitimately good. The suspension is more buttoned down, feels more controlled around corners. And as far as I can tell on these rather smooth Arizona roads, the ride isn't harmed too much because of it. In fact, the Woodland, with its all-terrain tires, rides worse. This is a legitimately enjoyable compact SUV to drive. It's also exclusively available as a plug-in hybrid. That's right, the RAV4 is once again available as a plug-in hybrid. It's available in the sport trims as well as, for the first time, the Woodland. Now, it too is a next generation system. It produces 324 horsepower, which is 22 more than before, and its electric range is up to 48 to 52 miles, depending on trim level. It was 42 before. The other area where you can see this isn't all new is the cabin design. You can almost see the old car's bones here, and it's like they pulled some stuff out and just kind of plopped some new stuff in its place. For instance, the digital instrument panel in place of the old cowl gauge plaque. And then here, these square housings for the drive mode controls, well, these used to be round temperature adjustment dials for the climate control system. The rest of the controls, well, they used to be where this hole is, and well, they've been plucked out and popped here into the touchscreen. Now that hole is now a bin for 1 or 2 wireless charging trays. So it is more functional, that's good, but I don't think it's as attractive. And also, it doesn't have the same pops of color that kind of brightened the interior that the old RAV4's trim levels had. Probably the biggest change is that the RAV4 debuts Toyota's next generation infotainment system. It now has a home screen. It was actually kind of weird that the current one didn't have one. It's customizable, so you can move the widgets where you want them to be. It has 5G capability. It has improved voice assistant, and it actually has a drive recorder that records 20-second clips from the exterior's various cameras. Now, this is the standard 10.5-inch screen, but you can get a 12.9-inch screen on the upper trim levels. Besides the touch screen, this 12.3-inch digital instrument panel, it's now standard. And in terms of safety tech, the driver assistance systems have been improved with upgraded hardware and detection capability. So the menu of those is basically the same, but the quality has improved. Full pricing is not yet available, though Toyota does say that it'll start in the low 30s. Hybrids will go on sale this December, with the plug-in hybrids arriving in the spring. Now, although the GR Sport is quite clearly better and more engaging to drive than any of the old RAV4s, including the Prime, the other ones are also better, because although the platform has carried over, it has been strengthened. The chassis has been retuned and upgraded in key ways that make even the Limited I got to drive earlier, as well as the Woodland, yeah, they're better as well, specifically in terms of handling and steering response. Oh, and that powertrain. So not only is the hybrid standard on every RAV4, it is a better hybrid, not just in terms of performance and fuel economy, but just drivability. Smoother, more refined, easier to live with. So the RAV4 isn't all new, but it is definitely improved.